Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 17 of Mad Dialogue with me, Michelle.
And me, Skylar.
And we're back. We're back. Oh, my goodness. I have missed you guys so much. So much. You have no idea. I've missed Mad Dialogue and everything. So we're not going to keep you in the dark, and it's nothing major, except that we were having problems with our equipment. And now, finally, all of that sorted, and we are back. So without further ado, let's go. But before we get into this week's episode, I just came across something that just made me laugh, just for a little bit of humor. So I thought, let me just quickly read this before we get into it. So this woman says, dropped my daughter off at daycare and she hit me with, "Mommy, yesterday Miss Keita bit me." I'm like, who the fuck is Miss Keita? She said, Miss Keita.
I already know where this is going.
Oh, God, sorry, I'm losing the thing. She said, Miss Keita, you know her. Now I'm walking in there like a whole concerned parent / undercover detective. Which one of you all is Miss Keita biting my baby? Her teacher goes, we don't have a Miss Keita, but a mosquito did bite her yesterday. I just stared at my child like, girl, use your syllables before I end up on the 6 o'clock news. That's so funny, but kids are so funny. Like,
as soon as I heard mosquito,
my head wasn't even there. I was like, how is some woman biting her child? Like, didn't even think for a second. But then, when you get to the end of the story, you're actually like, oh my gosh, that's funny. So so this week, we're talking about ICE, basically, and the disgusting ways that they are going on. Now, the thing is, let me if I just go to a couple of the stories that I've found so that we can break it down then, so to speak. So basically, ICE detains Marine Corps veteran's wife who was still breastfeeding their baby. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers detained the wife of a Marine Corps veteran in Louisiana during a routine immigration appointment in New Orleans. Adrian Couleter, I believe that's how it's pronounced, doesn't know how to tell his children where their mother went after U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers detained her last month. When his 2-year-old son asked for his mother before bed, Couleter just tells him Mama will be back soon. When his 3-month-old breastfeeding daughter Lynn is hungry, he gives her a bottle of baby formula instead. He's worried how his newborn will bond with her mother, absent skin-to-skin contact. His wife, Paula, is one of tens of thousands of people in custody and facing deportation as the Trump administration pushes for immigration officers to arrest 3,000 people a day. 3,000 people a day. Now, you see, this is my opinion on it, right? Now, if there are people in the country that their visa has expired, they are, they need to serve they've done a crime and they need to be deported, or they entered the country illegally. To a certain degree, I understand why they would be deported. And sometimes when people are in a country illegally, it's not that they're trying to do it illegally, it's because they have no choice. They need somewhere to go, and so that's what they resort to. But nevertheless, if you feel that because law-abiding citizens, you're saying okay, then they need to be deported, that's one thing. But what about the people that have been here for years? They're just hardworking people. They've just come here trying to make a life for themselves. So their children have been born and raised in the country. And because there's one man here, I'm just trying to find the story where, basically this man, he's got 3 sons that served in the Marines, and he was detained by ICE and he was beaten. Yes, he was beaten. And this is the thing. It's almost like they are just targeting
Yeah.
people based on where they're from rather than because they've committed a crime.
Yeah.
Okay. There's even talks of how detainees are dying. Some are dying in these camps because that's what they are at the end of the day. Let's not, act like it's not the case. They are camps at the end of the day. But my thing is, how long was you planning on keeping people in these conditions? Why haven't you sent them back home?
Yeah.
A young girl, she was 19. She was arrested. She was arrested because her family come from Brazil. And she was detained for about 15 days in a center. And then when she went to court, the judge dismissed the case. Yeah, he dropped all charges and whatnot. And for me, it's like these ICE agents, I'm going to say it, they're like Nazi officers. Yeah. And somebody likened the way how they are acting and the way how they are treating people. It's given the gulags in the Soviet Union before the war and during the war, where they basically segregated the Jews and put up barricades, which in effect was caging them in. They had no access to food, to water, and these things. They were, you know what I mean? And they were living in squalor because a lot of the places where they were being put were demolished and that. And okay, I'm not saying that they're in places that are demolished, but I'm just saying the treatment of them is they are still human beings at the end of the day.
Exactly.
What is your opinion on it? I mean, what have you because it's all over the news, so you must have seen something.
Yeah. Honestly, the side that I've seen, and maybe it just goes to show, my age and what side of social media I'm on, but it's just these same people that are getting deported, taking the piss out of the whole system, because I've seen a lot of people get deported. And one guy was like, "Thank you, Donald Trump, for this 1 week vacation." And he said he'll be back in a week, and he literally was, and he's there showing buildings in America to prove that he got back in.
And how did he get back in?
I don't know. I didn't ask him.
You're so
I don't know how he did, but no, I saw him on a boat. He was on a boat, actually.
Okay.
I saw him on a boat at one point. He kind of filmed it across, but yeah. And it's just like, well, it just goes to show, like, how serious is it really? Like, I know it's very serious on the aspect of people being taken from their homes and loads of stuff like that, but it just seems like a lot of people don't take him seriously in this whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, they just kind of laugh at him at this point because a lot of people have figured out their ways, especially as it's not the first time. You know what I mean?
Well, the Guardian newspaper says across the US, group chats and community threads have started spiking with warnings, not just the typical alerts about traffic or out of service subway stations, but where and when an ICE raid was last seen, what places to avoid, what the plainclothes agents might look like. The thing about it is they're like Trump's henchmen. But you know what I find interesting though? The same time he's wanting all of these people to be deported, he's there inviting a group of 59 white South Africans, and they've been granted refugee status. He invited them to America. So make it make sense. But at the same time, the Trump administration has halted all other refugee admissions, including for applicants from war zones. Human Rights Watch described the move as a cruel racial twist, saying that thousands of people, many Black and Afghan refugees, had been denied refuge in the US. And the thing about it is, because it's known in America, this is what's happening. But the fact of the matter is, this happens all over.
Yeah.
We have ICE in the UK. Do you know what I mean? They're just not as blatant. And once again, it's a thing where how many times are they going to be doing this until people say enough is enough?
But
because I already saw it. The ICE agents went to this man's workplace. You see, there's the thing. The man was at work and they went and detained him. And a lot of people were there causing an uproar because they didn't agree with what was happening to him. And this is what I'm saying. If these people are working and providing a service to the country, and they haven't got any criminal records or any such thing. Like, why can't you just leave them?
But this is how I look at it.
If you've got
like,
time to
it's
be
not-
inviting 59
But-
South Africans, white South Africans, I have to add that, to the US. I don't get
But
it.
this is our thing, and there's people here that are getting deported that literally living here is all they know.
Yes.
You know what I
That-
mean?
that's
Well,
what I
not here,
mean.
but you know, living there is.
But that's exactly it. Do you know what I mean? Like, families have been split up, you know, and then there was a woman, they took her and left her 12-year-old child on the sidewalk. So what happened to her child? Like, and there was a passerby that was, you know, showing concern and trying to offer support, and he was saying to the ICE agents, her 12-year-old daughter is here. What about her? They're not saying anything. So what does then a white van suddenly pull up not long after and then take her, and then that woman doesn't know where her child is? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not even allowing her to call somebody,
like,
or even taking the child with her, if that be the case. Because, you know, if you're taking me, then take my child with me. Like, because I'm already stressed now. Now you're making me like, what? It doesn't make no sense to me. And it just seems like this is going to get a lot worse.
Yeah.
And I feel like as well, a lot of people's attitude is, if, well, you know, it's got nothing to do with me. If it's not happening to me, I'm not getting involved, type thing. But it really does make me sad to see this happening.
That it's kind of a wave thing. Like, it's going to end up affecting you in one way or another when your society collapses, because
that's it.
A whole lot of it are these immigrants.
Yeah, that are happy.
You know what I mean?
That are happy to work for minimum wage, where the other people in question would not be.
But this is what I'm saying, though. Those jobs that you don't want to do, that's what those people are doing, which is holding together your community. So make it make sense.
You know, so I just hope that these same said people that are detained in these camps, that they are released and sent home. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, I'm not being funny. If an ICE agent pulled up at the front door right now, and was ready to deport my ass back to Jamaica, I do not have a problem with that, deport me with my children, because let's be honest, I wouldn't want to come back to this country anyway, if that's how you're treating me. Because you're not even taking into consideration the fact that my children are actually born and bred here. You don't care.
But this is the thing, in the same one where 3 of his sons were Marines. Like,
they served in the...
Like, if it wasn't for him having them children, they would not... Like, come on, make it make sense.
And see, and that's the thing. That man had so much thing for the country, to how he would have conducted himself throughout his life, and his sons would have seen that, which made them want to grow up and serve their country. For them to turn around and treat them like their father, like disgusting. This. It is disgusting. But, you know... I just pray for all those people that are detained, and you know what I mean, they're just everyday people at the end of the day, you know what I mean? And even the ones that their visas run out, or they've committed a crime or whatever, I still would like for them to be treated with a modicum of decency and respect, because at the end of the day, they are still human beings. So shout out to all of these people that are going through it. I really do feel for you. And, you know, the question you have to ask yourself is this: if there was something going down in our country and we had to seek refuge in another country, I would like to think that that country would accept us, you know? But it's like this. My grandparents, they came to this country after the Second World War. They were not refugees. They were not seeking asylum. They were actually invited by the Queen to come and clean up the country after the war. And so they came, but a lot of them came with the intention to work and save money and go back to Jamaica and, you know, build a better life for themselves. And a lot of them managed to do that, and others unfortunately were not. But the point I'm making is this: my grandparents were invited to this country, but yet we suffered so much racial abuse and being told to go back to our own country. Like, even me growing up in school, I used to hear that nonsense.
Even got that, and I'm like, hold on.
That's my point at the end of the day, you know. But we weren't seeking no refuge or no asylum or no, and we actually came over to provide a service. And you know, and look how we were treated. So
you can only imagine how they're
right. So it does come with that thing where once again, you do have to look at the situation and say to yourself, okay then, but I don't see any white people getting like detained by ICE. Why? Because you're not stopping them, but they could well be foreign as well, you know. I'm just saying.
Actually, no, because even the Canadians I see get detained are coloured. You know what I mean?
This is what I'm saying.
They
So
are
you're
people of
bypassing
colour.
the people that are not of color, yeah.
Even with
But
the
they
Canadians,
could actually be in need of being deported. Yeah,
like,
they could be criminals and that. And that's another thing. The same 59 families that he invited over, just because they haven't got a criminal record doesn't mean they haven't committed crimes. They're
and
just
they're not going to,
and didn't get caught for it. And it doesn't mean they're not going to. Do you know what I'm saying? So the question is, are you going to deport them if they say do anything that is not
This is the thing though.
by, you know, the standards?
This is the thing though.
I'm just curious to know anyway. But that's me. That's all I have to say on this subject right now, or for today, because I know what I'm like. I'll just keep going on, and it's just unnecessary. I think everybody gets the point. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, then. So I think we will leave it here this week. But once again, we are so happy to be back. Thank you for listening to us, watching us, if you're watching us on YouTube. And we will definitely be back next week. So in the meantime, I am sending an abundance of love and light. And it's goodbye from me, Michelle, and goodbye from Skylar.
Bye.
Bye.